everyone, and welcome to the Geek Pride podcast, episode 3. This is going to be the tabletop edition, and as you can see, we started this out in a very dignified manner. I am Augusta, also known as Sean Wallace, one of the writers on the geek-pride.co.uk website.
Alright kids, you know me. Gavesden. I'm sporting a tash and a monocle this evening, and a bottle of Trooper.
Good evening, I'm Becca Mama Bear Harper, and you've seen me before, so not much to add.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I be a pirate. Yarr. And yeah, you all know me.
You all know Matt. Everyone knows.
Everybody should know Matt. If you don't know me, then you should do know me. Like, really know me.
I know you.
Oh yeah, you know me.
No, not that way.
Yeah, in the biblical way. Completely, they're ruled over Laura.
Hey, I'm an awful accident happened and I'm now a dog. So
I'm a cat with a monocle.
Never trust a cat with a monocle.
Never trust a cat with a monocle. Right, so we are going to be discussing tabletop roleplay. I think we're probably going to start maybe
not just tabletop roleplay.
Not tabletop roleplay, tabletop gaming of all varieties.
Yes.
Trying not to be too much like a certain video series on YouTube that's called Tabletop.
I was watching that the other day with Will Wheaton.
It is very good, very funny, and there's so many games. Laura, do you not know what we're talking about? Is that why you're looking so quizzical?
no, I'm just testing out different things.
We've just got ourselves Google Effects on this thing, so everybody's pissing around with it.
Yeah, everybody's really enjoying Google Effects.
Fucking mega. I'm a cat with a monocle. and I'm gonna put... Yes. And now I'm a cat with a monocle with a tash.
Alright.
iTunes, we apologise. You should watch this on YouTube just to see the majesty that is a cat in a monocle with a moustache and alcohol.
There you go.
And a beard beneath, because Gizmo does have a beard.
I do. Oh.
So, tabletop then, not just the roleplay aspect, but also games, board games, and all other things that we're going to talk about. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know what we're going to start with, so hopefully we can cut that.
Can I just put my hand up?
Yeah.
And just say I'm like, I don't understand these board games and that. I haven't had time. So like, if I don't know what you're on about, I'm silent for a bit. That's why.
Well, last week you were saying that you love Connect 4, and that technically is a game. Tabletop game.
I mean, there was the night Matthew invited me around to his humble abode, and they had, what was you playing? Some Tactics, pal.
Dust Tactics.
That was it. That's what you're playing, and like you'd been setting all your pieces up, and it was good 2 hours before you started playing the game, and you still hadn't set your pieces up. And in that time, right, well, basically, it took me ages to do the game. In that time, I played a couple of games of Connect 4, Trivial Pursuit, and I smashed a bottle of whiskey.
Did smashing a bottle of whiskey really take that long?
It didn't take that long, and then I gone Xbox and played some games. So I mean, the models look cool and all that, but I just don't get the whole, you know, the.
So I think we should start by saying not every tabletop game requires a 2-hour setup.
No.
You're talking about an entire wide genre, including Trivial Pursuit and Connect 4.
So we're talking about all board games.
Yeah, anything, man. This is.
Games, yes.
Well, I mean, there's a classic, isn't there? There's Mousetrap.
I never got it. I was a deprived child.
Oh, no, Mousetrap is like the best board game ever created by humans.
I think it's the worst board game. It's the best.
No, you're wrong.
It's the best story because playing the actual board game part of it is quite dull. The best part is just making things happen in the mousetrap.
I've never played it, to be honest. I don't even know what you have to
I
do.
haven't.
Oh,
You don't know
man.
what we're on about, though.
So Mousetrap is a game, I think it was designed in the 80s, where players would go around a very elaborate mousetrap and build it as they went. They would get to the end and you'd have to avoid the certain squares which would be right under the mousetrap at the time when a part of the trap would be triggered. So
It was a masterpiece of engineering, though. You have to admit that, at least.
yeah,
Like,
that's
you
why
press the
it's
buttons.
a brilliant toy.
Yeah.
It was more
mean-
fun just to build the set and watch it trap a mouse.
Yeah.
Did it ever work? Did
Yeah.
it work?
Yeah,
It worked.
I think we
more
had
fun
it.
when
I just never
didn't.
played it. I think we were missing bits. Do you know what
Yeah.
old school? You know, we're talking about sort of old school games. Do you ever remember a game called Crossbows and Catapults?
No.
Really? It was basically you had two sides. You had sort of like the Romans and the barbarians, and they had like these sort of little. Well, the barbarians had little sort of kind of grey bricks, and the Romans had little sort of yellowish bricks, and you had a keep in each one, and then you had crossbows and catapults with little sort of kind of elastic bands, and you got these like big you wouldn't have this game probably wouldn't be allowed these days, but you had lots of elastic bands, lots of big chokeable sort of kind of plastic counter things, and then you had to sort of put it in the crossbow and the catapult, and then you had to knock the guy's keep down. Obviously, you built the walls up to stop them, and that was the whole part of the game.
All right.
Awesome.
No, never saw that.
I mean, you know, there was a classics one. There's Mousetrap, Buckaroo. Buckaroo was brilliant. Screwball Scramble was one of my favourites.
That
You just sit there going,
Yeah,
No!
it was mega.
no!
It was mega. You put your little timer on, it goes zzz, ting. It was brilliant.
It was
And, like,
fantastic.
I think I had frustration as well. And I remember getting one game called The Grape Escape. You made these little grape people out of plasticine, and
Oh,
like they
God,
went
yes,
around.
I remember this.
They went around on the board like Mousetrap, but like certain bits they'd end up in like a little device that would crush them
Yes.
and like crush little happy faces, and they were just flat. Like it used to have like this big boot on it that used to just crush one of them. It was
Yeah, I
mega
think
that.
you had 3 grapes each or something, and your task
Yeah.
was to get one of them round a course that was designed to kill everything that came anywhere near it. It was quite a fun game. I remember that. God, I'd completely forgotten about that until you mentioned it.
The one I always get ridiculously competitive at is Articulate.
That's awesome game. I
Oh.
freaking love Articulate.
Oh, we got it somewhere around here.
Mate,
Oh.
Yeah.
my
My husband will confirm this. We were at a party playing it, and I was screaming at you, going, "Why don't you understand me?"
That sounds like a normal Christmas to me.
Yeah, that's a Christmas.
we have an Articulate. We have a Gearsden Articulate Championship every Christmas, and I've won the championship every year, bar last year, where my sister's boyfriend won. I was not happy at all.
Are you? We learned last week that you are a sore loser.
Yes, I am a pretty sore loser. I like winning. I don't like losing. I like winning.
Whoa. Yeah, I'll tell you all something now. Right, you're looking at the buff-off champion here. I defeated that lad. I've got a certificate on the wall and everything.
I'll put, basically, what happened was in work we have these little challenges, and one of the challenges was between me and Gearsden who would look the buffest in 3 months or something.
Yeah.
And while Gearsden was eating salads and going to the gym, and I was eating Greggs and not going to the gym, so unsurprisingly, Gearsden won.
I don't think that counts as a tabletop game, though. Unless Gearsden-
Well, we was in the office, weren't we? We've got a desktop.
We were exercising on a table.
I guess you're like,
It's quite a dodgy question, isn't it?
We have a few mini games that go on. You know, like we had the trivia challenge quiz, which you didn't do so good on.
no, you didn't. You lost that quite a lot, didn't you?
Well, maybe I could throw it out there anyway, one of the questions, and see what these guys think.
Well,
Right, and I swear to God, this is real. Right, apparently somewhere, like knocking about near China and Japan and all that, there's a place where people worship a cat that has one big eye, like a massive dual eye, and then just one normal eye. I swear to God.
No, Gerson. No. He turned around to us, right? This is the game. He said, he comes out with random things like everybody, sweeping generalizations, like everybody in Japan worships cats. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, they all worship one-eyed cats. And I was like, dude, that's wrong. And
No, I said there was an island knocking about.
no, we found out there was an island where they actually do sort of kind of worship some sort of cats, but you said it was all the Japanese worship one-eyed cats. It was just like, what? Where did that come from?
Well,
Anyway, we're sort of kind of going
Yeah.
off the point ever so slightly. Back to articulate.
what's it all about? Explain to me. I don't know what it is.
You've basically got cards, right? And
Right.
you've got a circular board, and they've all got different colours. And on the different colours is a topic like nature or objects or something along those lines. And you have to describe that word to somebody without actually saying the word. And it gets really, really uber frustrating.
There's other stuff as well. Like, you're not allowed to say it starts with a P, and you're not allowed to say stuff like, oh, it rhymes with like
Hat.
Peter.
Yeah.
So-
Like, for example, Kirsten, if I had the word kiss in front of me, right?
Yeah.
I would turn around to you and I'd go, your favourite band.
And I
you
go
would
Paul Stanley.
Yeah.
Then I go, that's it.
and I'd
That's
be
okay.
no.
Surely
He's
say
like,
Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Or
Right, well, so like saying like someone's describing an object like an owl, right? It's
You would just go, it goes, ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah.
that's what you say. It goes ooh ooh. It's
Yeah,
like you
something
don't
like
want to like
Yeah.
it's fluffy. Its head can turn around all the way around and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
We were doing it with, you see, because we get uber competitive, and my missus is quite competitive as well. And we had one where it was me and my mate John versus her and Rachel, and my friend Rachel. And Rachel wasn't really taking the game very seriously, and Lauren was getting really annoyed that she wasn't. But me and John were like proper zoned in, getting all the questions right. And I think the last question was, I think the answer was bear. And I turned around to my mate John. I went, right, it's a band minus the, and he went bear. And Lauren just skitzed out at me. You can't do that. That's cheating. You can't do that. I wouldn't know that. And she stormed off and started smoking and got really, really annoyed with us. It was hilarious.
Yeah, my sister freaks, like I said last week, my sister freaks, and she's come back today from holiday saying, my husband does not know the rules of a jigsaw. And we're all like, the rules of a jigsaw? She went, yes, first you get all the edges before you put anything together. It's you, Becca, you were like that as a child.
That's more a strategy.
Just
That's
put
like
the bits together.
rules implies that it's a game where like one person gets one bit and then the next person picks a bit and stuff. Team game.
Well,
That's
he did hang on to a piece, so he could be the last person to put a piece in.
nice.
So, you know, it is kind of a game. The person for the last piece.
We should try and combine jigsaws with Risk or something. As many pieces as possible, and whoever has the most of the jigsaw wins at the end, or something.
We were
like
talking
that.
about Risk. Have you ever actually won a game of Risk?
I have won a game of Risk, yes.
I lose all the time. And I did military history, but I lose all the time.
Yeah, that military history
That's
doesn't.
the past. You're repeating the mistakes of the past.
Very true.
It's pretty simple as soon as you get machine guns. It's quite simple after that.
What other old school games does everybody remember they quite like?
Kaplunk. I found it
Oh,
clearing
no,
out.
Oh,
Risk.
they're talking. They've talked about Risk. Okay.
Oh, who's got the police?
That's the fun police right there.
Yeah, Kaplunk.
I have a scar on the back of my hand from a game of Kaplunk with my sister that went very wrong. And my sister got a handful of marbles and squeezed my hand, and I have a little like dent.
Oh,
That was
that's
Yeah.
evil. But the hardest thing with
Kaplunk.
the hardest thing with Kaplunk is explaining to children that you don't want the marbles. No, they're like, yes, 10 marbles. No,
I
don't want
the
any marbles. Put them back.
That's where you create the alternate rules, where it's like when you're bored, because you do eventually get bored of a game, just playing it over and over. You go, right, we're going to play it the opposite way around. Most marbles win.
Yeah. Which is how they play anyway. So.
Yeah.
That's really annoying. I'm sorry, when I start playing with kids and they don't get the rules right and they're doing it wrong, I get really frustrated and sort of I don't want to play with you anymore. Play it properly.
I've got to say, we're not doing a very good job of selling tabletop games. About anger, frustration.
Yeah.
That's what tabletop gaming's all about.
Yeah, I'm a bitch for dealing correctly. If you don't deal correctly, then, don't fucking mess with me. Take them back and start again.
I think every geek has some sort of kind of ism, especially when it comes to sort of tabletop gaming, like the proper sort of, yeah, I'm totally cool with that, but I'm secretly not. I'm really angry about it. And it's like, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's not how I do it. That's not how it's meant to be done. And if people do things differently, they get annoyed.
Violence and anger aside, tabletop gaming is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, much fun.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, up until the point where somebody is wounded for life, as in Laura's case, it can be quite fun.
That's all right. I mean, do you remember, has anyone played Uno properly?
Oh, I love Uno.
Right. Well, I don't know how to play it properly, but I remember when it came on Xbox Marketplace. Do you remember they brought out the first little miniature camera for the Xbox before they connect?
Yeah.
And that was a free game, Uno, and it was mega. I was just mesmerised playing Uno, and all I had to do was press X all the time. And then when this card were right colour, I'd press another button, it goes Uno. And I was like, this is brilliant. And then people came on the cameras, and sometimes at night, you get some naughty pictures on the cameras.
So basically, it's like a pigeon or a rat feeder. So you basically just kept on pressing X until you got naked women on the screen.
Well,
I think there's easier ways, and quicker ways.
He probably thought, holy shit!
It is like that. It's like, I've got a fucking camera on my Xbox now. What the hell is going on? This doesn't happen. The console has never had a camera.
Do you know that they have porn on the internet nowadays?
Yeah, so I understand that, but this is when I was a young lad. I don't.
I see, because he could sort of justify it then, couldn't he? Because some boobs pop up. That's not his fault. It's, I'm just playing Uno. It's not my fault. There's some boobs there. I'm just playing Uno. I'm sorry, Mum.
Young lad in his teens. Hormones are running mental.
I get to see you in your bathroom. Not in your bathroom, in your bedroom, sitting there. X, just fucking hammering X, just to the boobs. And then when you got up there, getting out the tissues, go.
I didn't do that, Matthew.
I think Geek Pride just needs to make very clear that it's not a good idea to have your Xbox in the bathroom.
Health and safety.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay, there you go.
One of the first ones I had was battleships, and this was at the time when they had the battery-powered one that gave out sounds and talked to you and things like that. Did anybody have that? You
were posh.
No, it was the joint Christmas present between my brother and me.
Oh. No.
So we
Me and my sister always get board game. We got Battleship, not the one with the flashing lights. We got the plasticky one with the pins and the little models. We got that as a joint Christmas present. We used to get something like that every year. We're like, we don't want them. Can you not get us presents?
I was never a massive fan of battleships. I never really liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, I got banned from doing it in my family because I used to mark where they had fired and missed, and then I would move my ships because they're in the water and they're moving around. I didn't do it so I'm moving into squares they'd already aimed at, sort of thing. But they'd move around if they're getting a bit close and shuffle them along.
Cheating.
It's not cheating.
Cheating.
It is the logic.
I'd love to say
that is cheating.
It's not cheating.
If it's not in the rules.
That's the whole thing that they do. If you're in a ship, somebody's firing, you're oh, I may as well just stay here. No, you're going to move a little bit on.
But each ship is firing as well, and they're a representative of hundreds of meters. You can't move that quickly.
Laura's the reason people get anger in games. Laura's that person who just makes you want to kill somebody.
She's the one who
I think
charges
now
rent
I'm
in
understanding
Monopoly.
why my sister injured me in the compliment.
No wonder somebody stabbed you with a compliment think. Yeah. To be honest, when it came to sort of game, we used to have a regular board game night in the Geary household, but because my dad was massively into sort of complicated war games and stuff, it was generally sort of like hex-based sort of battle games like Battle of the Bulge or the Eastern Front or something like that.
Did you say
It's a
Battle of the
battle-
Bulge?
Yeah, Battle of the Bulge, mate.
And the Eastern Trump?
No, World War II games, dude. No,
All
World
right.
War II. We did play the old game of Cluedo. No, Cluedo was
Oh,
good.
Oh,
I
it was
hope-
Fiddle Mustard in the library. Damn it.
I had Harry Potter Cluedo.
Oh, was it Snape?
Well, obviously it changed every time, but yeah, it was like. Oh, it was
My
good.
husband can't play Cluedo. He hasn't got the patience for it. He gets it straight away. I don't care. He spoils it.
The thing that worries me about Cluedo, I love playing it, but every one of the detectives is so stupid they can't tell the difference between blunt force trauma, a knife wound, or a gun wound.
Or a rope, a hanging or something.
Yeah. Look at the corpse once, and you will get that basic detail. Like,
If you imagine just a lot of interfering old women who never actually saw the body and they're just going, oh, I reckon it was this. No, it was definitely this. Well, I heard. And it's all that.
You're sounding a bit like Wally there, Laura.
yeah, you're
Going a bit robotic.
Yeah.
Your voice is going a bit Wally.
Okay.
See, I think it should have been motive or something like that instead of weapon.
Yeah,
Because
more
you
interesting.
can't tell a motive by looking at the corpse.
The crime scene.
Yeah.
The room it's in.
Yes. And so it just annoyed me because as a kid even I was seeing this and being like, there is a subtle difference between this, surely. But if you're stabbed, then there would be blood. Like, just look in the room and
Yes.
that will show you where the blood was. If there's no blood in any room, then they weren't stabbed.
Yeah, but what happens if it was Mrs. White and she cleaned it up afterwards?
You'd smell the bleach. I can see its eyes.
What we do to Geek Pride Cluedo, which was who did it, what was the motive, and how did they cover it up?
Yes, that would be brilliant.
I know, I've got one.
Yeah.
Andy did it because of what Matt did.
For all of you who don't know, poor Andrew. I feel really bad for him, but I couldn't. We were getting spammed, and I was deleting people.
So what actually happened there, Matt?
Basically, we were getting like proper spam attacked on the website. I was getting really annoyed because it was people sort of register to the site all the time, and it's hard to sort of. I don't have a plugin that sort of kind of vets them, so they just register, and I have to go and delete them all the time. And basically, we're getting loads of spam, and I just went and deleted a wedge of people. Sadly, Andrew was one of said people by mistake, and he lost all of his articles. And I'm surprised he didn't come around my house and beat 7 shades of shit out of me because I would have been very, very upset. Luckily, we managed to get, most of them back with some help from everybody. But
High five.
high five.
Woo!
Yeah.
So that's geek-pride.co.uk, an entirely professional organisation.
Yeah, it's like you should back that shit up, and I was like, I did. It didn't back it up properly. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry once again.
So it was Andy who did the murder. How he covered it up.
Well, presumably he used poison because Matt's still talking.
It's a slow one.
Yeah, he's giving you cancer. In 30 years, you're going to be fucked.
Right. Okay. So.
So there's not just board games that we can talk about. There's also what I mistakenly assumed this would be about, and there's actual tabletop role-playing, which is a specific kind of tabletop gaming, I guess, in which players
Assume
a role. This is why it's called role-playing. And at the behest generally of a games master, dungeon master, storyteller, different names throughout different systems, they follow through a campaign or a story that is written by the games master, playing their roles, progressing through the challenges, the enemies, the traps, the complicated
Backstabbing.
political machinations, backstabbing, all kind of things, in order to, I think, if we're honest, just survive the campaign.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever wins.
No, you don't win. Either everybody wins at role playing or nobody wins. I think.
But it's not about winning, is it? Role playing. No. It's not.
So, what games? Which sort of RPGs are you both on at the minute? Because last RPG I played was Dungeons and Dragons, and that would have been quite a while ago. So.
Was that a board game?
No, it's well, I suppose they've sort of evolved them into board games now, haven't they? Because you can get little miniatures and stuff for them these days.
Yeah, I don't go for all that. That's too hard work. I just like to sit there.
We play it with miniatures, and it adds something extra to the combats, I think, because you've got, I think we're playing 4th edition at the moment, and that was very much designed to be a tactical, turn-based fighting system, as well as being a role-play system. And it works very well. My friend's got like a massive bit of wipe clean graph, I guess paper, but it's laminated, and so it draws the dungeons and the rooms onto there, and then the figures move around, and it is quite it's engaging. It's something I've never actually done before, but when we do play 4th Ed, it's quite good to play it that way.
Do you have like a gaming group, a certain amount of people that come around and do it regularly?
Yes. It's generally a core group augmented by a couple of people, depending on their availability. So there's some games that I don't attend that other people do, and all this kind of stuff.
How often do you do it?
It's generally about once a week. We'll
do I wish I could play games once a week. My gaming group is absolute bollocks.
I would just play games at all.
Who's in your gaming group? Oh, sorry, lass.
Well, I was just saying, we were going to have a gaming group, and then our GM went to America to live.
That's pretty.
So now,
That's trying to get away from you.
Yeah, take that as a sign, mate.
I was really excited. I had my character sheet, and I was all like, "Let's do this!" And she's like, "Fuck you, Mom."
My group I have been playing with since I was about 18. Same people.
So 5 years.
No, sorry.
You're smooth. Oh, smooth.
No, what? I'm 34 now, so there's some maths there. And I've never played with anybody outside that group, which makes me a little nervous, but also interesting because I don't know what other people play like.
Yeah, you get a very strange dynamic based on different groups. I mean, what we can go into a bit is how people first got into it, who they did, but I only got into it thanks to the Roleplay Society at my university. I'd never actually heard about tabletop role-playing beyond like the stereotypical 35-year-old men with beards in a basement Dungeons & Dragons, the thing that actually people think of when they think of tabletop role-playing. And I was inducted into the world via Call of Cthulhu. Which, if people don't realise this is a tabletop role-playing system. It's a D100 system, so the dice would be matte, and and it's based around the works of an author I hadn't heard about at the time, but who has since become one of my favourite authors, H.P. Lovecraft, who did Call of Cthulhu and Check the Case of Poor Charles Dexter Ward, all sorts of early 20th century horror fiction which influenced so many people. But it's also a game in which the aim is to not die
not go insane.
Yes. And that is much, much harder than it sounds. Where reading books, seeing things, talking to people, having a dream.
You heard a noise. You're insane.
You're now mad. Congratulations. It's entirely built. It's built in a universe where anything can send you mad, and the point of that is that everything will send you mad.
Do you? When you play these role plays, I know Becca, you say you sort of kind of get into your character and things like that. Do you do the same thing, or?
I tend to, yes. I try and play characters who I can empathise with most directly. So I tend to play kind of morally good or slightly neutral characters.
Yeah.
I see you as a sort of neutral character, Sean. I think you're more of a sort of neutral / good sort of character. You're always playing. You're always a devil's advocate sort of guy, I think.
I try and play a little bit good, but out of the role play system, I do look at films, go like, well, just kneecap him. Kneecap him.
Why did you
far
shoot
more
him
efficient.
last time?
Yeah, just shiv. It's fine.
Where in games I'm not like that. I'm like, well, we should talk first. Why can't we talk first? Where everybody else runs in and kills it.
It's good fun to talk. I would, when I started with the group, and I still do a little bit now, I'd put on an accent when I was talking, try and be more in character. But they kind of frowned on that because no one else did it.
I tried to learn Spanish for my character.
Oh wow! Actually, my
That's dedication right
Alex, who's my girlfriend, she role played with another friend on her Spanish course, and they both knew Giant in D&D. And they were the only characters who did know it. So when they wanted to talk in Giant, they just talked in Spanish to each other.
Nice.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah, I liked that. It's very clever. Yeah, and from that initial kind of roleplay session, I was such a noob with it. I thought that you were supposed to be looting corpses in the game, which is not what you do. I actually, after we killed someone, knelt down and said, well, what do they have on them? It's like, well, nothing.
ID.
That would be a bit bizarre for me. I'm so used to sort of. I'm sort of used to like anything that, you kill, you pick up at shit. It's like, wow, this guy's got a watch. I'll have that.
Yeah. It depends what you're playing because in real world superhero that I prefer, I like to play. You can get the police on you for that. That's just stealing from a corpse. In fact, I like the games where there's a cross the line kind of issue.
So what's the sort of what was that game you were talking about, Becca?
My favourite, and will always be my favourite, was a superhero, and it initially started in a game system written by our friend Jerry. I will tell you now, unfortunately, Jerry died a couple of years ago. Oh. But I don't want to bum everybody out.
You totally have.
I know, he was our GM. He's the man who introduced me to role-playing games, so he was always...
It's getting even sadder.
GM. No, but it's good because, without that, I wouldn't have been right here where I am today. But as a dynamic, I think... I like real world. I like to know that I can pick up a mobile phone, but with that element of fantasy where D&D, I felt really out of my depth. I didn't know how things worked. I think it came where everybody else had played D&D before and I hadn't.
Yeah, that is a problem.
So what are you going to do when we start playing the Game of Thrones RPG?
I'm trying to read.
The Game of Thrones RPG?
Yeah, man, we're going to do it.
We can all play different characters, like.
And you can play Jon Snow.
Can I be? Oh, whoa! have you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to work out who's going to GM and when and where, but I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, for the listeners, in future it's likely to be that where we do the monthly podcast on tabletop role playing, we'll actually be doing a scene from a Game of Thrones based RPG system, and it's quite accurate because I'll show everyone on the video what t-shirt I'm currently wearing.
Yeah, House Stark, get in there.
House Stark one because I lived in the north for most of my life, so I do kind of consider myself a northerner, even though I have such a weird accent.
Yeah, go on the north.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I had a read through it. Like, I haven't played any RPGs, bar obviously computer-based ones. I haven't played any paper-based ones in years, and I don't know what it was. I was in Fanboy 3, I think, and I was talking to the guy about the Game of Thrones board game, which I have, but he said, well, have you tried the role-playing game? And he got it out, and I was like, this looks epic. And the good thing I quite like about it is that you have to build a house, and not as in build a house as in with bricks and shit, as in build, House Geary or House Harper or something like that. You've got to build a house, and you've got certain people, so somebody's the heir, and somebody's like the wife, and somebody's the liege lord, and things like that.
And it's it's just.
I mean, look at him right now. He's just
It'd be mega.
like hobbled in a dark corner. Can barely see.
I'm wearing me. I've got a Emperor's robe dressing gown from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm just wearing that at the moment, and they've got me. I mean, it's torn down a bit though. If you saw my feet, you'd be thinking what's going on, because I've got like lobster slippers.
Nice.
Just like the Emperor.
Yeah. You don't know what's going on underneath that robe.
Well, I tell you what's going on underneath this robe, my mate. I've got my AC/DC ball breaker pajama pants on.
But yes,
So-
anyway. So
Anyway,
there-
Game of Thrones. Are you buying it, Matthew? Have you bought it?
I've got it, mate. I've got it. I've got all the expansions and stuff. 'Cause
When we could come around and play on it.
see, the thing is, I need to look. First we need to figure out who's going to GM it, because everybody will want to play and nobody will want to actually sort of kind of do the sort of kind of storyline to it. I wouldn't mind having my own house, to be honest.
Yeah, because I want to just put the voice on and all that and go like, get them wedges in here. Let's have some mead.
I don't know. My Scott said he quite liked to GM it.
Okay, we can do that then.
He's listening to the books at the moment on the walk to work. It's the quickest way he's figured out to get through them.
Good lad, that's what I've done.
That could be, years.
Yeah.
Does he need to read the books, I guess?
No, you don't have to read them. I don't think, as long as you sort of.
He's read through the manual.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We've got a DM. We can do that. I quite like the idea that you can have battles and stuff in it. I think you can have you can actually build fortresses, and you can hire sort of soldiers and things, and it's got like a sort of tactical side to it as well, which I quite like. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So
Where I'm more of a role player, I like the role playing the characters. I'm never into that many fights. You put a crowd of zombies in front of you, like zombies, hack, kill, stab. Where your husband gets killed in action, you've got to create a clone of him. That's the kind of story I like, which did happen.
Well, then
So dramatic, making a clone of a loved one who died in battle.
It wasn't battle. It was our own mistake.
Right.
He was held hostage. They said, "Don't move." We moved. He was shot through the head, dead. Luckily, he transferred his personality to the internet, and we had a clone. He was incredibly rich, so that was helpful.
like the Charlie Brooker thing.
Yeah, and then we got married on an island. It was lovely.
But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that, because I haven't done an RPG in a while, and I really sort of think I can get into that.
Oh, mate, I'm welcoming round on that one.
Yeah, man, that'll be good.
John and Mosley be coming down on that, and
No, I don't think they'd be into
John
that
would like
one.
Game of Thrones. He likes his Game of Thrones.
Marsden will, I think. Aye.
So, right, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know where I could get some inspiration from. I mean, who's heard of something like Wallace, Clan Wallace? Who's ever heard of it?
Yeah, but it sounds a bit Scottish, that, doesn't it? He'd be alright.
Yeah,
William
yeah, a
Wallace, you
little bit.
fucking
They're like-
douchebag.
Oh, really? Really, Matt? Really?
Not yet. No, I was talking to Gearston, because he was like, "Oh, sounds a bit Scottish, that does."
I like the idea of House Harper. I think that sounds really House Harper. House Harper. Yeah, I like that.
House Gearstark.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
It's gotta be northern. It's gotta be northern.
House Matt.
House Matt.
House,
Get walked over.
yeah,
I thought we were going for House Pride.
House Pride. Yeah.
House Pride. Good
See, that sounds a little like,
Hiya, fellas. Let's go and get some White Walkers. Woo! My God, this fur really does go. Mm.
You could be the Matt of Flowers.
Yeah, the Mat of Flowers. Yeah. Me and the Knight of Flowers could totally get it on.
You could.
Yeah, and we could be all like using our lances and shit.
Oh my Christ.
Oh, Jesus. So, what are you playing at the moment then, Becca? You're playing in that
No.
semi-homebrew system, is it? Or
We're playing Mutants and Masterminds at the moment. My husband's running it.
yeah, Mutants and Masterminds is a superhero system based on the Wizard of the Coast 3.5 D5 D&D edition. So it's
Right.
D20.
Fucking hell,
Yes,
he knows his
D20.
shit.
He does. I can never remember the systems. This is the problem with me in role playing. I don't remember the rules or systems. I remember the stories.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, we're playing that. I'm an alien on Earth. The only well, not the only one, because the bad guy, he's also an alien. Shh. I know, and I've got to try and fit in so I'm not dissected by the American government.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And you're playing.
Sorry?
How's it going so far, dissection-wise?
Great. I just had to remember not to leave my vomit in places because the DNA doesn't match up to humans, so I had to go back and clean that up in the pub.
Isn't that just courteous regardless of your race?
I was trying to see how drunk I can get, because it turns out I can't get drunk as quick as humans, so I was going off, hell to leather and the
No,
tequila.
because you're sort of kind of into sort of being in the character. If you get yourself drunk as a character, do you get proper drunk playing it as well?
No, it can help. It depends. If I'm playing a new character, I'll get drunk just to lower my
That's like laughing.
senses.
No, well, I mean, like being in the character. So if you're saying I can't get drunk as much as other humans, and I thought you'd be necking sort of kind of.
I'll die.
Yeah, the problem there is, Matt, that
You've got to carry on.
in the game, yeah, at night the GM could essentially say a week passes, and then a week passes, but you can't be a week away from being completely and totally shit-faced. It's just not something that my liver can do. I don't mean to presume on Becca's liver, but I don't think
my
it
liver
can do
can't
so
do it.
either.
No.
Um,
Although when I was playing Carmella, which was the first superhero game and my favourite, I did have tequila shots because that was her thing. She was a burgeoning, definitely alcoholic, single stripper mom. So she had tequila to cope with all that. Plus the having to save the world every 5 minutes. It was a lot. Yeah, at one point she was turned into a werewolf, so she was very alcoholic. But it was great because it meant I can sit and go, and I'll drink brandy for breakfast. And they'd all look at me and go, what are you going to say about it? I'm the leader of this team. Fuck you. But I like to play a bit of a bitch as well because I'm incredibly nice in real life.
I can't do that. I'm just a serial good guy. I have to be the good guy. Cannot be a bad guy in any way, shape, or form.
I can.
Yeah, I know you can, but I can't. I feel bad, man. Especially like when you play games where there's moral choices. I just have to do good thing. Do the good thing. Be nice. Give the kid money.
Sorry.
It's alright. Let's go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, in more choice systems, I tend to do the really nice thing anyway. I don't know why. I'm scared that karma will get me. I'm just, no, I have to be really nice. Laura, they're not real. I don't care. I'm going to befriend them.
You see, in those for video games, I generally play one through as a good bloke and then another one as an evil woman, so I cover up all the spectrum.
I didn't say it this time.
It's what was it? It was Mass Effect, the first one. I tried doing the Renegade thing, and I felt too bad, and I had to restart again.
Yeah, you just feel like a wanker being a renegade in Mass Effect, don't you? It's completely different to like being like if you play Knights of the Old Republic and your dark side in that, you feel quite bad, but you don't feel like a tosser. Whereas you do in Mass Effect, you're not so much a renegade as a rude person.
You're a dick. I just don't want to be that dick. And it's like I feel like somebody's going to turn around and go, "You're a dick." I was like, I don't want to be a dick.
Well, that's the thing because I will play a bitch who always does the right thing, like
heart of gold.
Yeah.
The bitch with the heart of gold.
People, but my husband will just play an evil bitch. He likes to play evil bitches as well, but they are evil, and he stole life from everybody in New York. 5 minutes of their life. I'm like, you can't do that. What if that person was about to stumble upon something really important in 5 minutes? They lost. So I am a good person when I play a character, but to my teammates, I'm a bit of a bitch.
So that's an interesting thing about your marriage that you're so diametrically opposed.
Ooh, that's a good word, diametrically.
When we play, we tend to butt heads when we play. It's weird. We will argue. It takes away the arguing in real life because you get to do it in character and nobody's to blame and there's no consequences after. but we do always end up as characters that don't get along.
Well, you see, I've been trying to get my missus into sort of kind of board games and stuff, and I've been getting her to play Talisman a lot, which she quite enjoys. But she doesn't like being picked on, so if you sort of attack her or, you know, stop her from getting something that she wants, she gets annoyed with me, and I get, Matthew, why did you do that? And I'm like, that's a part of the game.
But there's not many games that you don't do that with. I mean, I'm just thinking about all of these games I have here, Munchkin and Zombies, you can always shit on the other players.
Zombies, mate, that is such a
Zombies.
sadistic. Zombies is such a sadistic game, especially that card that sends you right back to the beginning again.
Oh yeah.
That is a horrible, horrible, horrible card, which always gets played on me. So I'll literally be one step away from getting on the helicopter, and then my mate Russell goes, "Oh, guess what, Gary? Bam! Right back to the beginning." Ah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, if we ever get together and play, which we shall, I will pick on you. I am warning you now. I will pick on anybody. I'm sorry.
Munchkin
I'm
is
sorry.
a dangerous game. We had a group that we all played as a group in university, and we ended up stopping playing Munchkin because it just caused so much aggravation.
What is Munchkin? Well, I've not played it.
Munchkin is a card-based game. Comes in like at least 4 dozen different flavors. Whereby, yeah, you've got Munchkin there and Superhero Munchkin.
Super Munchkin. And Munchkin Bites.
Cthulhu Munchkin as well. I love Cthulhu
We've got Munchkin Impossible, the spy one,
No.
and Munchkin Food as well.
And the purpose of the game is to get to level 10 before the other players do. You can do that by fighting monsters. You can do that by getting certain cards. You get gear and equipment.
Selling you stuff.
Yeah, you can sell stuff to get you level up. You get gear and equipment that makes you better at fighting monsters, and when you are in a fight, the other players can ruin your game or they can improve it for some gear, and it's quite an interesting dynamic. But one of the main problems of it is that you're encouraged to cheat.
Yeah.
And that just caused so many arguments when people found brand new ways to cheat at Munchkin.
How can you cheat then? How can you cheat at Munchkin?
So you can hide cards, for example. Yeah.
You can also print.
So you have an extra level or something. These are just a couple of things that I do.
I mean, now and again, I like that the website produces cards you can print off or T-shirts that you can wear. They can give you extra things.
Yeah.
I like that aspect.
They did the rules for Epic Munchkin as well, which is where you have so many combined sets that getting to level 10 is just easy. So they've done like new rules for level 20 and like above, which is basically just once you hit level 10, all enemies levels double.
Yeah, but we also stopped playing Munchkin for the same reason. There were arguments within relationships and it didn't end well, so we had to take a break from Munchkin for a while.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm worried about, because I bought the Game of Thrones board game, and apparently it's meant to be pretty sort of bad because it's all about treaties and sort of stabbing people in the back and stuff like that. And as much as I think that would be awesome, I know if I played with my girlfriend or some of my friends, there may be fights afterwards.
I wouldn't have a fight.
No, I know you wouldn't, Kirsten, but my missus, she sort of might take it the wrong way, and then I wouldn't get laid for about a month.
I was about to say, it's the sort of thing where if you needed a kidney, they wouldn't give you one because you screwed them over in the game.
Pretty much, I think. Yeah, they sort of get from. I haven't played it yet. I just bought it the other day. It's the second edition, but basically, it's all card based. You've got obviously Westeros as a board. You got lots of little sort of kind of like ships and guys, and you get little counters, and you put them face down, and you do different things. Like I think you can march, or you can support a unit, or you can do other things. But obviously, because they're face down, people don't know what you're doing, and you've got to go around and say, "Well, I'll tell you what, mate. I will help you out if you help me out, blah, blah, blah." But then, obviously, they don't know what you're going to do because all your counters are face down, and so you could just fuck them over and do something else. And so it seems like it could be very, very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
I want to play.
Yeah, well, I think we should do that. Get that game going sometime. That'll be awesome, I think.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Up there with you guys, so I can just turn up at your house and play games.
We should do that. We should just have we should get a hotel room built, get a convention center, and we'll all
just turn up. A community centre's maybe a bit more within our league.
So, speaking of card games, as we just were, there's a final tranche of games we haven't yet discussed, and there was a request for this on Facebook. So it's also just pure card games, by which we don't mean poker or other based on the
street poker,
the traditional 52 cards, which are in turn based on tarot cards. We're talking about Magic Gathering and things like that. A very interesting moment last weekend. I was in Wetherspoons and with my girlfriend, and we saw two groups of people. One group were the kind of standard fare, attractive, normal people, and they were playing a card game. And one group were very much Geek Pride readers, and they were playing another card game. One of them was playing poker, the other one was playing a fascinating game I couldn't quite source, but it was something like Magic Gathering or the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. I was just looking at the two of them thinking, one of these sets of people is cool and socially acceptable. And it's depressing that actually the more interesting people are probably the ones who aren't.
Magic.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering is the one that we requested to talk about. Has everyone here played Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
No.
I haven't played it, but I have a friend who, him and his friend have won a competition playing it, and he's got this first edition card that's worth like 500 quid now.
Wow.
He's trying to get us all. We're all going to buy a starter pack in our gaming group. We're all going to buy a starter pack and start playing, I think, at some point, because it does look pretty awesome. I played it on the Xbox. I haven't played it sort of physically in cards.
On Planet, we're giving out like free packs. So I have packs, but I've never played because somebody won't play with me. And I always ask. I'm always saying, "Can we play?" Well, not always, but okay, another time. But so yeah, but there's like a group that gets together at a pub near me, and I might go, but I'm scared to go by myself.
Oh, see, this is what I need, a group closer by.
It might be dangerous to go into a group just on your own, because they tend to be quite competitive.
Yeah, especially starting out. They'll have strategies for now.
Welcome, but do they mean people who cards but have never looked at them, kind of
fresh meat?
Fresh meat.
Yeah,
I know someone who's professional, kind of as professional as you can be in the card game, as it were. But he goes off to like the world tournaments in Hawaii and things like that, and he's won a few things, and it's a whole wonderful world. It really is underneath.
It does look pretty in depth, to be honest. I'm sort of,
So for those who don't know about it, it's a card game based on generally one of 5 colours of magic. So if I can remember, plains, fire, water, earth, and death.
Black, death.
Yeah.
White.
And
What's white?
White is plains.
Plains, yeah, sorry, of course it is.
No worries. And essentially you generally combine 2 of those elements to create a deck which has a certain strategy. You draw one of, you have a hand of cards, and you have different kinds of cards. So there are magic, which you use to summon all the other cards, spells, artifacts, and monsters, and enhancements. Some mana, which beginning, and there's enhancements to monsters or artifacts as well. And you have 20 hit points. Your opponent has 20 hit points, and the opponent loses if they get down to 0 or they can no longer draw any cards. And there's an absolute infinite range, seemingly, of strategies within that, with each of the different colours having their own specialties.
What kind of strategist are you? I'm a read it as a pull it and not really plan ahead. Just go with it. Do you plan ahead and...
Yeah, I probably plan too far ahead and hope for a specific card.
Yeah.
Which is a risky strategy. Sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you find it was the last card of the deck, and it can be quite annoying. I haven't really gone too much into the deck building. I've mostly played decks that have been...
See, the thing is, I think that's the one thing I think I would like about it, because I collect. When I buy stuff, you know, I have to buy it all. So if I start on something, I think Magic the Gathering might be slightly bad for me in a good way, because I literally, if I start collecting something and I like it, I'm like, I want it all.
Yeah, it can get like that. You used to be able to walk into HMV and buy them. You can't. I don't know if HMV does it, because it does it anymore.
No, instead you should go to your local friendly comic book store.
Yeah.
I swear there's a HMV in town.
Yeah, it's still knocking about.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ours is closed though, but that's Rochdale for you. But you walk in and you're like, just one more packet. Just can I have one more? just to see what those cards are. It is quite addictive in buying them, but then you've got a stack of cards and you've got to sort them into appropriate decks, and that's where I get a bit put off. So my husband does that for me.
Yeah.
I'm a bit lazy.
And there's some of the packs and some of the cards which are kind of tournament approved just kind of wreck some of the gameplay. So there are decks that are designed to ruin the opponent, so they can't do anything. And whilst that's absolutely brilliant for tournament play, it kind of ruins it when you've all got like a takeaway around you, and there's 5 of you at the table, and you're just trying to have a bit of a laugh, and someone's just like, "No, you do nothing."
But see, I don't understand that. That's the one thing that sort of annoys me about gaming in general, computer games, and sort of like people who play simply. Like, I like winning, but I like enjoying myself when I'm doing it and stuff. And I really hate people whose sole aim is just victory. Victory by all costs. So literally, they will spam army, or they will do something that literally takes all the enjoyment out of the game, because all they want to do is win.
Yeah, well, whereas that takes me a bit back to role-playing characters, because I like to play characters with flaws like alcoholism or, children. And whereas my
Spoken as a true mother.
They let me down today, it's not good. Whereas my husband's he wants to munchkin it. He doesn't want flaws. No, he says to me, you can work the system and build a perfect character. I don't want a perfect character. A perfect character will win, and that's boring. And I'm a bit like that with playing games as well. If I could wipe everybody else out, I don't think I would. I think I'd do it slowly. And
yeah, you want to build up. It's like, I like that. I like that build up, and I like sort of, working out on strategies as sort of, I think that's why I quite like long games, and that's why I'm really into the sort of, when I play sort of tactical games or when I play board games, I like the sort of long-winded ones, simply because I feel like I'm getting something out of the game, instead of sort of, if you play these short games and people are just like, oh, get it all done quickly, and I'm like, oh, I want to play a bit longer, I want to sort of kind of enjoy people's company, I want to sort of, be around a bit more.
We tend to have warm-up games, like Munchkin's a warm-up game for us, and Shea Geek, that's a well-used warm-up game to get you in the mood, and then, have the long game for the evening.
Role-playing is a long game.
Yeah.
Role-playing is a long... I think that's the point, Matt, for many people who are role-playing, is that you do multiple combats, or you are playing a very long game. It's just that you aren't doing it with potentially your combat movements, you're doing it with your out-combat actions.
Yeah, your life.
But see, I dig that, man. I like stuff like that. It's sort of, a lot of my friends who we play with in my gaming group, again, the worst gaming group ever, because they talk smack about playing, and they buy lots of things from Kickstarter, but they never actually play. But every time I come around, like I'm really into a game called Dust Tactics at this minute in time, and it's sort of like, it's weird World War II sort of stuff. So basically, World War II's happened, and then the Germans have found a wedge of alien technology, and it gives them...
with the Nazi gorillas?
Yeah, so you've got Nazi zombies, Nazi gorillas, you've got walkers instead of tanks and things like that. Actually, let's see. So like, this is like World War II stuff, so it's like, you get like walkers and things like that. And that can take quite a long time. It can be short, but I like big games with lots going on, so it's like a game of chess. It takes a while. You got to think about what you're going to do, think about what they're going to do, think about what's the best army to pick and stuff like that. And I really buzz off that, and my mates do not like that very much.
Yeah, I think longer games. I always try and role play, even if they're card games. Doesn't matter what they are. I'll narrate. I'll have a narrative running over the top of my moves, just so I can role play a little bit. I'm trying to think.
You should try and
There
get
was a
like
game I
poker
played
or
recently.
something.
Oh, DC card building deck game up, which is a really poor title for a game, and that is just.
Is that the title?
Sorry?
DC card building game.
Yeah, that. Hang on, man.
That is
Sounds a bit of an ass. It's just picking cards to build a deck to beat villains, but there's nothing. I'm not motivated by it because I'm just picking cards. I need things to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So DCCBG, it just rolls off the tongue.
I cannot believe that was the best title. I think we did a review for it. I think my friend Mel did a review of the game. She loved it. You know, it was okay for me, but it's not one I'd choose to play every session.
Yeah, and I think variety is very important as well. When you do get a regular group together, and we obviously, hopefully, many of the geeks listening who do want to role play or tabletop do have a regular group that they can play together with. But it's very good to have variation. I think we cycle through about 5 different games with different GMs and things on a.
So do you just play sort of RPGs then, or do you have any sort of board games and stuff that you play?
Mostly it's RPGs when we get together, but we have played board games like Escape from Atlantis. We do have poker nights and things like that as well.
So I think we've got like a million. Well, that's one of the issues we have sort of in my group is we have too many games at this moment in time. So we've got we all play 40k, Warhammer 40k, which the new Apocalypse stuff's coming out soon for all of those geeks out there. I bought myself the really expensive sort of rule book that's probably going to sit on my shelf with the rest of them and not get read. But you know, I like collecting things. We've got 40k. We're playing Necromunda. We're playing Blood Bowl. I've just started painting. I just started painting a new sort of kind of thing. It's meant to look like it's sort of kind of like on fire. You can't see it very well there, but it does look like it's on fire and stuff. What else we got? Dead Zone, which is a new game on Kickstarter that we've pumped a wedge load of money into. Dust Tactics, like I said. What else have we got? We want to play the Game of Thrones RPG. We want to play the 40k RPG. We want to play Zombicide, which is basically sort of an RPG, sort of. Well, it's like you can build up characters and you fight zombies, and it's like a mall thing. Obviously, there's a lot.
Which 40k RPG are you going to be playing? Rogue Trader or Death Watch?
I think it's probably going to be Rogue Trader.
Right.
There is another couple as well, I think, but again, we haven't done. There's loads. Like we've got a massive long list of games that we sort of kind of want to do, especially the RPG stuff as well. And
So
it's sort of.
sounds like you need to slip back into some vulgar words. Tighten that shit up.
Yes, we do. No, it's true. The thing is, we just need to sort of kind of sit down because there's so many of us who want to do different things. The only game we play regularly is Warhammer 40k, and as much as I like 40k. I wouldn't mind doing some other bits. That's why the Dust Tactics thing for me is something that's different, and I love it. But nobody else, like a couple of them, don't mind playing it, but nobody's really into it. And then some. Sorry.
Are you a Special Marine player?
Yeah, I'm a Space Wolves. I'm a Space Wolves player.
Space Wolves is the only acceptable group of
Yeah.
Space Marines as far as I'm concerned.
You'll love this as well. I call my Space Wolves chapter the Dire Wolves as well. So.
Nice.
So Space Wolves. Yeah.
When we role play, we tend to just play the one game for many, many months until we all get a bit fed up of it. True Guardians went on for nearly 5 years. We play the same characters. I actually have a wiki page for her. If anyone's interested in read about Carmela Cervantes, aka Kick-Ass. Disclaimer: named her before the film and comic. So technically mine.
So did you have the same DM for 5 years?
Yeah, up until he died. So yeah, but in between then we'd sort of at Christmas maybe play another game just to give him a break. But ultimately the dynamic worked better if he DM'd and we were all players. It was strange how it worked, and after that long,
different groups are like that. So the first group that I role played with, it was generally the same person who GM'd all the time. But in the group I'm in now, we've got maybe 3 or 4 different GMs, of which I'm one. Yeah, so it's different. It's so different based on the people and their creativity and their willingness to try and create.
And sit down and write it all.
Yeah, sit down and write it all. Try and create such a wide.
I've only ever DM'd one game, and it was spurred on after his death. And I thought, come on, I can do this. If he can do it, I can do it. It was actually called The Agency. It's a really very tiny rule book. It's mainly roleplay based. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. But after about 5 sessions, I wanted to play again. And I think that's the problem with DMing. If you really are a natural player, you could be tempted to kill everybody off so you can end the game, which I didn't do.
That's why I think it helps for our group that we do have that rolling one. So one week I will be a player, and maybe the next week I can be a GM.
Is that in the same game, or are these different games?
Different games. So we've
otherwise...
got a World of Darkness game going. We've got 2 separate D&D games, and we've got the one that I'm running, which is based on a bastardized version of the Uni system.
Good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think that's what I need more organization in my group. I need some more dedicated gamers, because like for me, I'd play games every weekend if I could, but obviously everybody, all my mates like they've got kids or they've got other bits and pieces they want to do. Like we've got a guy in our group called Paul who loves painting models and he loves all the stuff behind it, but he's not a massive gamer. He just
Well, we've got a load of Warhammer up there and unpainted orcs that we inherited, and we have no idea what to do with them.
Give them to me. I'll take them.
No, you can't take them.
you could paint them up, and we could play some 40k Becca.
Right. Okay. Deal.
We'll do that. We'll do some cross sort of gaming, Rochdale, Denton sort of thing going on.
Well, when I get my new house, anyone's welcome to come and sleep over. There'll be a conservatory to sleep in.
Whoa.
I know. I'm so excited. I've already invited Laura. She can come and stay with us for Heroes for Sale.
As long as we can have sort of RPG things, so I don't die an RPG virgin.
What we should do is go to Heroes for Sale, come back to mine, have a massive night of gaming. I'll palm the kids off somewhere.
We'll get Kirsten on that and pop his proper board game in cherry.
Hey?
Pop your cherry, mate.
I've already done that, Chief.
Well, you haven't really played. You came into my house drunk and you picked up one of the walkers and started going, "Ooh." That doesn't really constitute playing. That constitutes
it's role playing.
Yeah, but do you know what would have made that game better? If they fired little missiles on springs, or they made little noises.
I've got to say, I did want that as a kid. I did wish that there was something that was kind of 40k, but where you actually aimed the incendiaries and so on yourself. That would have been awesome.
Do you know what? There was something similar, which
was like a humans versus aliens type thing, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think I might have that somewhere flying around. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there's some
toy than a game.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but sorry.
No, sorry.
It's like I just want to play more. I've got all these models. I've got 5,000 points worth of Space Wolves, which sort of need painting and stuff. I've got board games wise. I've got like Conquest of Narath, which is a Dungeons and Dragons sort of Risk / Axis and Allies based game, which I want to play. Axis and Allies World Conquest, or sort of global, and I want to play that. But nobody to play with.
Well, have you considered going to your local comic book or gaming store?
I would, but the only issue I have is the one that plays the most games smells so bad. It's just they have proper geek funk going on, and it's horrible, man. They're all
it's bad. It's bad.
They're all really nice guys. I get on with them, but it's like when you go in there, it is like it assaults the nostrils. Sort of. It's like Sex Panther, sort of assaults the nostrils.
You need Vicks here.
Like, alright, you're giving the rest of us a bad name. Stop it.
What?
It's true. I think I was talking to my mates. It's like I'd really love to have my own sort of gaming sort of store, or like something like the Beasts of War guys having their own sort of center. for gaming. But one of the things I would have is deodorant for everybody who came in the door. I was like, you must wear this, and I'd be like, literally one of the rules would be if you smell, you're getting ejected, sort of thing, because it's the worst.
You smell,
thing.
you're getting injected.
Whose nose are you using? Because
Yeah.
It's not like I understand, a lot of people together and stuff, it might get a bit smelly, but get some ventilation in there, man. Get some fucking.
conventions can be like that.
It's horrible. It really is horrible, and it's just like it really puts me off. It's just like I don't want to sit there and the smell of the funk.
Yeah, it's not right, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. I like smelling nice. It's like when I went to that to thingy in Manchester. What is it?
The
I saw you last. Yeah.
MCM.
That
Yeah.
absolutely reeked in there.
It did. It's not enough room. There's not enough room in there for all those people to be so closely packed together. It smells awful.
I'd be mortified, man, because it's like I have a massive when we were at London MCM, yeah, and I had my backpack and I had my camera and I had tripod and I had my weights for the Steadicam and everything. So I was sweating like a whore in church, And afterwards, my missus turned around to me and went, "You smell?" And I was like, "No." So it's like deodorant.
And that's all it takes. A bit of deodorant.
Yeah, it's like.
And regular bathing.
Yeah, regular bathing, of course. But it's like we used to go to uni with this guy, and he used to say, and he really smelt bad, and he showered, but he said he just liked the natural pheromone smell because it attracted women. And I was like, dude, that shit is not going to fucking attract women.
It attracts women. It's Paul Stanley Kiss for him. Bit of Old Spice and Davidoff. You know what I mean? Not fucking sweat. I'm not having that. There's no need for it. There's no need for it whatsoever.
There is no need.
See, because that's the thing. I would definitely go to a gaming store and play more with people, but I can't put up with the smell, man. And I don't want to go to the Games Workshop and play 40k all the time, because that's the one game we do play quite a lot of. I want to play Dust Tactics, or I want to play some more board games and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to play with people who
Don't smell.
don't smell.
So there you are, to all our listeners and readers. If you do want to play a tabletop game with Matt Geary, the key thing that you must do is not smell.
Way.
Yeah, pretty much, man. That's one of my bugbears when it comes to gaming. Smelling. People who smell.
and on that informative bombshell, I think we'll call this an end. I've been Sean Wallace.
Oh, I've been Gisden. Yeah.
I've been Becca. Harper.
I've been Matt Geary. She's been Wally.
That's been Laura.
Wally.
Laura Bot 4000.
Wally.
That worked really well. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for listening. And if you haven't already, play a damn tabletop game.
Yeah.
Oh.